Hello everyone, my name is Michal Vojtáš. I'm a professor in the Pontifical Salesian University here in Rome, and welcome to this seminar about artificial intelligence, theology and evangelization. These themes are pretty complex, so let's focus on some smaller amount of complexity that we can handle in these short videos and in this short meeting. So let's see about the first issue could be what are the links between a magisterium of the church, faith and faith reasoning and artificial intelligence. Also, the second theme could go to the ethical field, like raising some questions, because every technology brings not only a way of doing things, but also automatically, by the methodology it applies, it raises some ethical questions, values. What are the components that will influence us when we use artificial intelligence? Then some practical implications on artificial intelligence and its conditioning on cultural issues and cultural colonization, and then some proactive and good practices about ministry, youth ministry, education and AI. So we can speak about the magisterium. I would like to show you a little bit this website magisterium.com, which is applying artificial intelligence to the magisterium of the church. All the council documents, encyclicals and Pope's meetings, also with the bishops' conferences from around the world. So it's a pretty rich database of documents, something around 5,000-6,000 documents. Let's ask this artificial intelligence, provide me a summary of Catholic teaching on artificial intelligence. And of course there are some documents, and this approach, it's a specific website which is designed using, of course, OpenAI embeddings, but in a certain specific way, in order to avoid the hallucinations and creation of random content. So it's functioning more as a machine on doing linguistical and textual synthesis of existing documents. So you can always go to the references. So human-centered development is important. So AI should be developed with a focus on enhancing human capabilities. Then ethical considerations, we will be speaking about that in a moment. Impact on society. It is a transformative force that can either promote or hinder social justice and peace. Yes, it depends on the use and on the criteria. Throw our culture, that's a term of Pope Francis, which could be also applied to technology, digital culture and AI. Global cooperations, and of course there are some regulatory frameworks. So the church supports the establishment of a robust regulatory framework. And so all these notes, you can go and confront all the documents. So like Rome Call for Ethics, you can click it and you have the document. It's provided right here, or you can go to the original on the Vatican.va site. So it's pretty transparent in its functioning. So it's not a bad example of use of artificial intelligence applied to magisterium. And also, when you finish the reading, the website gives you some hints on further questions. There could be another question. Let's ask the AI, what is the church teaching on education from Vatican II to the present times? Let's see the answer. So we will wait a little and let's see. Okay, so the church teaching on education from the Second Vatican Council to the present emphasizes the integral role in the formation of individuals and society, having responsibilities of both parents and the church. Okay, it's pretty general, like the introduction. Primary responsibility of parents. So this is okay for the education of children. That's a traditional approach. Role of the church, crucial role in education, particularly through Catholic schools. Collaboration and community, evangelization, contemporary challenges. Let's see. Modern societal changes while remaining faithful to its mission. It's a pretty generic term, like the church recognizes the fragility of the family life today and emphasizes the importance of strengthening the relation between schools and families. Okay, it's interesting. I have done some research before on the theme of education, because it's my field, and it's interesting to see what are the sources for the answers. So we had some general responses, so it's not very specific. And what struck me was that only one time, and it's always quoting only one number of Gravissimum Educationis, which is Second Vatican Council document on education. So it's pretty important, and it should be a base for the argumentation in the reasoning process. But it seems that this kind of AI is working on text, which every text is on the same level, and it's only searching for words and a specific meaning of the word education. So it's linked education and family, children education, Catholic schools, and it is searching inside these parameters. It doesn't have importance weight on a certain document. So the identity of the Catholic school for a culture of dialogue, it has maybe more applications, because it's quoted 2 times, confronting to Gravissimum Educationis. So there is a disproportion, of course. So this could be one of the issues when we use AI for the work on faith and magisterium of the church. And we could go on and on. For now, this model is doing a good job because it's not hallucinating, but it's also pretty simple. It is not leveraging all the strength of an AI on working with the complexity of documents. In the same website, we have also a function of so-called holy widgets, which can help you with different tasks and prayer, and there is also a guide to sacraments. So when I ask the AI, I'm going to confession, please help me. So a guide to reconciliation comes up with all the steps. Examination of conscience, so before entering the confessional, collect your thoughts and try to recall all of your sins. And we have here all the 10 commandments, also with some questions, and I can select them. So at the end of my exam of conscience, I have my list. Okay, let's make an example about the 8th commandment. Okay, so I have this, then prayer before. So it is guiding you to make a good confession. Inside the confessional, what do you have to say? Okay, so greetings, sign of the cross, tell your sins simply and honestly to the priest, listen to the advice, act of contrition, traditional form, modern form, and then you go on. And so I try to ask, okay, what can you suggest me to do to confront my sins from this list? Okay, it gives you some generic advice about examination, okay, but then, okay, to confront sins effectively, several key steps can be taken based on the teachings from the provided resources. So, responsibility, contrition, seek forgiveness, engage in prayer, commit conversion. So it's pretty generic. It's not very concrete. So like I was pushing it a little bit more to be more specific. I'm failing in these sins. Suggest me exercises to improve my behavior. And this is my list from the selection before. You shall not bear false witness against your neighbor. Have I lied? Have I gossiped? And such. Okay. And so it's providing, regarding the commandment, you shall not bear false witness against your neighbor. So you have some suggestions from the AI. Practice truthfulness in all situations. Okay. Cultivate charity. Focus on developing a spirit of charity and kindness. Interesting. Seek forgiveness and reconciliation. Engage in positive conversations. Reflect on the impact of words. And so it gives you also always the magisterial documents on the work around our own relationship with the truth. So if we reflect on these instruments, people, as there are some researches that suggest that many people are asking AI not about factual questions about texts and information. They are actually trying to get help, also in a spiritual sense. So I think people will use these instruments because they don't cost anything, and you can ask, and it's anonymous. So it will have a certain impact. So we have to deal with these questions. So I'm not a supporter of of an AI teaching you on how to do confession, but these instruments are already here. So another type of question, for example, if we don't go to a specific like church linked site, would be I was doing this kind of experimentation. Okay, working with ChatGPT, I will provide a profile of a young man who wants to enter a religious order. So you have to evaluate his characteristics and suggest me which order would be more suitable for him. Choose between Jesuits, Franciscans, Benedictines, Salesians, Dominicans, Augustinians, Trappists, Carmelites. Nice, okay. Give me a detailed argumentation. Okay. The AI responds, and I provide my profile. Now we don't need to go through every, like, the personality type, emotional resilience. I divided it into psychological characteristics, moral characteristics. There are some talents and limits. So we have a certain description of a person. Alex is a vibrant and engaging young man who thrives in environments that value communication and creativity. His extroverted nature and ethical drive make him a strong team player and community advocate. However, his tendency towards anxiety, under pressure, and difficulty with highly structured tasks pose challenges in certain academic and professional contexts. Emotionally, while he is capable of resilience, maintaining his mental health requires conscious effort and strategies. Okay, so we have this example, and let's see what does the AI respond, because it's all about vocational discernment. It's about a direction in life, and sometimes this type of counsels could be important. So thank you for providing. And the AI is selecting some of the orders, and speaking about alignment with the mission and the charism of the Jesuits, for example, of the Dominicans, there are some considerations. Where is the alignment? Dominicans, it could be like, for example, prioritize preaching and teaching, valuing theological study and articulate expression of faith, aligning with Alex's strength in public speaking and articulating complex ideas. Okay. And Franciscans, the same. Salesians, we have also Salesians focus on youth education development, which could be a good fit for Alex's intrinsic motivation to impact the community. Okay. Also, team sports, practical and hands-on approach on spirituality and education in the Salesian tradition might suit Alex's creative and less structured learning style. Okay, at the end, without questioning the AI further, it suggests the Jesuits, and it gives a certain rationale, motivations for it. So it's interesting to see the logic. So there is an alignment with Alex's intellectual and ethical inclinations combined with their focus on social justice, community support. It appears to be the most suitable. Jesuits are equipped to support individuals with diverse talents and offer a broad range of ministries. The formation process within the Jesuits would also provide Alex with tools to manage his anxiety and stress. So, okay, the logic behind all of that was each of these orders offers distinctive path that could help fulfill his potential while addressing his personal challenges. So it made a suggestion on balancing also some characterial issues and psychological issues that had to be addressed in this particular person, and also it searches a certain alignment in order to fulfill our own potential. So it's pretty much about self-realization and the maximization of potential. It's pretty like rationally based problem-solving issue. It's not addressing the call. What are for example the like the inner variables, and what does it hasn't asked us about some further questions about the spiritual life or about the sacraments and faith journey and spiritual journey of this Alex. Of course, this Alex is only a fictionary persona, but it's interesting to see that, okay, it gives you answers. So there is always this kind of push towards giving you some type of answer coming from a common mindset, like common, mostly Western-based rational decision-making processes. So it has advantages, it has disadvantages. So these are some examples on use of AI in magisterium, also in sacraments or in vocational discernment.